Hi, I'm Karie Kaufmann, and I have with me today Rod Crossman, owner of Crossman Landscape, a family business based in San Diego. And you've been in business for how long now?
20 years.
20 years. And when I met you, you already had a good business. You had built a nice business. You had a lot of employees. You had some great customers, decent revenue numbers. But what I recall was you were still hyper involved in the day-to-day, right? Still,
yes.
Maybe a little bit of control freak.
Absolutely.
Right? So talk about that, how you felt when we first started working together and what that was like for you personally, the amount of hours or stress or whatever you were putting in.
Well, when the company was smaller, it was much easier to manage, and I could do that without much trouble. But as the company grew, I found I was spending more time, in the office and not out in the field. And depending on which part of the company I was working on, one part would go really well, while the other part would not go so well. And I just found myself, working longer and longer hours.
Go fix this one, then go fix that one. Plug that hole, plug that hole.
Yep, get one running, and then the other one would fall down. And it's taken me a long time to figure out how to find that balance.
So what are some of the things that you've learned over the past several years, particularly about leadership and learning to hire right and delegate well to get you out of some of the day-to-day?
Well, the hiring part is the most difficult. For years, I've always, heard people tell me, oh, you need to hire the right people, you need to hire the right people. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean hire the regular laborer type person that's a good person, or does that mean hire a $200,000 a year manager to manage everything? It wasn't until the last year and a half that I finally realized I need to invest in some quality management people. Mm-hmm. Even though I felt I didn't have the money or the budget to support them, I found a way to make it happen. And within 2 to 3 months, those people are almost paying for themselves.
Yeah.
And you hear that a lot, where people talk about this happening, but you don't know until you've experienced it. It's almost
like you can't afford them, but if you had them, then you could afford them. They pay for themselves.
Right.
So how have you grown to lead leaders rather than managing everybody?
Well, it's actually more of a personal struggle for me, because I understand what I'm supposed to do and I see what other people do, but I constantly feel like I need to interject and be a part of every single problem that comes on. So
still, that control freak still exists.
It doesn't go away.
It's
still there, but I push it down and I try to control it a little bit more. I allow people to kind of do their own thing for a period of time so I can kind of see it play out. Mm-hmm. It may not be the way I wanted it done, but the end result is as good or better, then I'm okay with it. Yeah. And listening, I have a hard time listening, and I've worked very hard on being a good listener, and
I found that
I literally talk to myself and say, okay, listen to what this person has to say. He may be completely off base, or it may be something that is very important. And so I found the more that I listen, the better things are. The other thing is I tend to take things personally. When my company has a problem, I feel like it's my problem. And I would, kind of get upset and agitated over that, and then that would, be shown to the employees, and then that just sends a bad vibe through the whole company. And if you do that over and over, that becomes the norm. And then people are afraid to talk to you, they don't want to talk to you, and the whole dynamics change. Yeah. So by just taking a step back and listening and not responding right away has been something you've actually taught me that, just in our meetings and our different communications of just coaching sessions, and some of the books you've forced me to read, because I hate reading, but that's what I've learned.
Awesome. Any final tips for business owners who are maybe particularly working with tradespeople as you do, and you've got a lot of them, right? So
yeah, I think the biggest thing is to listen to your employees, and spend the money, spend the time to find that key person. It takes time. I went through probably 8 different people before I found the right operations manager. And knowing what I know now versus what I knew then, I wish I would have had that knowledge 5 years ago.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Rod. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Right. Thanks, guys.